Hi everyone, this is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs. This is what we're making today, and I'm doing a voiceover because for some reason that microphone that's on my lapel there didn't work. I probably forgot to turn it on. But this is the retro style sling by Can Do Patterns. It's all made in faux leather, 2 colors, and then on the inside is the heather PVC backed waterproof canvas. So there's an inside pocket, there's an outside slip pocket, there's two outside zipper pockets. And I've used all matte black hardware. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And the strap is jacquard strapping, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. I think you will love it. And if you haven't made one, why don't you go cut it out and let's sew it together. The strap, I'm saying there that the strap is also padded there. It's got a piece of foam, which makes it really comfortable. And there's D-rings on both sides. That way, if you want to wear it on one side or the other, you can. If, you're wearing it all day and your one shoulder gets tired, just switch it to the other side. So let's get started. Hi, everyone. This is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs. And I'm getting ready to make a video of the retro sling by Can Do Patterns. The retro style sling is the name of the bag. I have not made one in a while. I have a couple, I think, videos out there, but they have been a while. So I'm just going to do it. I need to make one, either for myself or to sell. I haven't decided. You know me, I like everything I make. So let me show you what I'm going to make it out of. So this one is going to be made out of some gorgeous faux leather from Simply Classic, and that's going to be the lining. This is kind of a heather PVC waterproof canvas from Sawyer's. So those are 2 of the outside pieces. And then the other outside piece is going to be the black faux leather. So that black is going to be, the outside is going to be the black and the tan. So pretty. So pretty. This is the zipper tape I'm using. I sell this on my website. It's tan. And then I'm going to use all matte black hardware, some matte black D-rings, a 1.5 inch silver clasp, a 1.5 inch slide adjuster, a 1.5 inch square ring, and I have some rivet magnetic snaps, and I have some rivets and some black matte zipper pulls. I think that's it. I'll show you the pieces as I go over them because I've made this numerous times, but it's good, I think, actually, to show the pieces as we go so you know what's what. Okay, let's get started. All right, so you have your piece B pocket right side down with your back piece A. You have your line drawn, and we're going to stitch around that. She gives you explicit directions on how far from this edge and how far from the bottom. So I'm going to stitch that on. And I'm using some caramel thread. Tech 70. Okay. Perfect. And then we are going to cut our hole just like any other zipper hole. So a little angle here. Just use some really sharp scissors and don't cut your threads. But get as close as you can. Same down here. Okay. And then we're going to pull that to the back. This is just a word to the wise. This is very thick. This black PVC backed waterproof canvas. I did it on purpose so I could have some good structure because I'm not using any interfacing whatsoever. So we'll see. I'll do this on fast forward. All right, I ended up putting some double-sided tape on the underside here because these two materials were not staying down, and you have to have them either ironed or staying down to get your zipper on. So now I'm just going to put my zipper on, and I want it closing going up. You don't have to. You could obviously close it going down if you want. And then I'm just going to center that. One side at a time. And then we'll stitch around our box. Perfect. And I'm going to pull those threads to the back. Okay, I skipped a stitch, so I'm not going to have that on the back. So let me fix that. It's because I've used so much double-sided tape. That's okay. Just come up a little, and that should fix missing that stitch. So come up. That prevents those stitches from skipping. Don't come all the way up, just up so you don't skip that stitch. And it catches the hook. Okay. Let me pull all those to the back. Okay. All right, so I had to do a little finagling down here. It looks fine. You know, sometimes you have to adjust, but it looks good. All right, so now we're going to bring this up and we're going to sew this together here. So I put double-sided tape there to keep it down while I was sewing it. So I'm just going to lift that up. Not a big deal. Much easier. I'd rather do this than not have it. If you have materials like waterproof canvas without PVC, you can definitely iron. This stuff you really can't. So then you're just putting those right sides together, and we're going to sew across that top and the sides. Okay. I'm going to start over here. And down the top of that. And back down this side. Beautiful. Okay. So now you have a completed back pocket, fully lined. Oh, might have to keep it for myself. We'll see. Hold on. All right, so on your what does she call them? Your square ring, D-ring connectors. Put a piece of tape there, and we're going to fold that down just by what she tells you in the pattern on both of these. Okay, and then here are my D-rings. I'm using 1-inch webbing, 1-inch black webbing for this part of it. And then I'm just going to sew these shut. Get my needle out of the way. Okay. All right, and then we're going to fold these with our D-rings right in the middle. So you don't want your D-ring hanging out too much, just a little bit. And then we're going to sew that closed. So just like this. So I have my D-ring, I'll tell you, it's about 3/8 of an inch to a quarter inch, quarter to 3/8 hanging out of there. So I made my D-ring connectors just a little longer so I wouldn't have to struggle with keeping it in there. You just want to make sure they're about the same. Like this one's out a little more. So I'm just going to put it in just a little further. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to sew across the top and down this open side. Top stitch. I'm actually going to top stitch here and here, and then I'll close the side. Just because I'm using such a contrasting thread. And same thing, come up a little bit or you're gonna lose, you're gonna miss a stitch. Don't want to do that. Here, I don't really care. Okay. So that's what you have. Looks pretty good, really. Let's do that again here. Okay, so you have two of your D-ring connectors. Look at the black with the caramel thread. All right, next step. All right, in the pattern, she has these going down. It doesn't matter. It works beautifully both ways, but I put mine going up. It really doesn't matter. I've done it both ways and it works fine. Now I'm just going to baste this in place. And the placement of these is on pattern piece A. Tells you exactly where to put them. Okay. Beautiful. All right, now before I go any further, I'm trying to decide where I'm going to put my tag. I have a Jeannie Bags tag and I have It's a Beautiful Thing tag. So let me think on it and I'll get right back. All right, so for this next section, you need your two A pocket pieces, wrong sides together. You need a accent piece to cover the top raw edge. You don't have to do it. You could just do these and turn them. I've kind of got in the habit of doing it that way. Okay, and then you need your lining piece and your outside piece. So this we're just going to stitch all the way around, baste all the way around. Excuse me. Then we're going to add our accent piece on the top. Fold that over, and I just use some of the black. And stitch that together. And trim off the excess. Okay. Then take your lining piece, and whichever side looks the best. Actually, it doesn't really matter for me. And we're going to add that on top of our lining piece and baste that in place. And if there's anything to trim, go ahead and trim it now. Of your pocket. You just want your pocket and your lining piece to match. I just had a little bit. Very little. All right, so then you have a really nice big pocket. Now, take your back piece that has your tag, your D-ring connectors, your zipper, and we're going to put these wrong sides together and baste them in place. And actually, yeah, I got my center marked up there. All right, and baste that together. Actually, I think it's a seam allowance. Hold on. Yeah, do the seam allowance in the pattern. It's not a basting, it's a actual seam allowance. Oh, I just ran out of bobbin. All right, I decided to use this webbing. I've had it for a long time and I just haven't used it. It's cotton woven. So I have a 2-inch piece here of the black vinyl, and I just put a line down the middle, and I am going to cover this up because if you don't, this stuff frays pretty bad. So I don't want it coming apart. So I'm just going to conceal it in there, and then we're going to stitch. Oh, so sorry. All right, I'm going to use this cotton woven for my webbing. It's gorgeous. It's black and cream, black and white. And I am covering it because it frays pretty bad. So I just had a 2-inch piece of my black vinyl. And I am going to add my slide adjuster before I sew that on there. I'm up and down. Just like that. And then I am going to sew a box around that. I know I'm doing a box. It's very scary. You have to. This time you really kind of have to. Just need to come one more stitch. There we go. Mm-hmm. Okay. Not bad. For someone who thinks they do terrible boxes, that's really not too bad. Okay.
There you go. Now, I'm not going to put any rivets because that'll just make that fray worse, but I am going to go ahead and put an X there. I wasn't going to, but I think I will. Let me just mark this. Okay. Okay. All right, I feel better about that. It's a good sized bag. Will it be really, really heavy? Probably not. But you don't want your strap to come loose or get start falling apart. Beautiful. Not bad. Okay. Now we're going to put our swivel clasp on. And pull that end up and through our slider. So now we're ready to attach that to our bag. There's only this side gets attached. Now I'm gonna put some more tape on there. It's gonna be inside a seam, but I don't want it having any opportunity for fraying on those ends. So just like that, and then I'll trim that off a little. Perfect. So just a little tape over that. It's going to be in the seam, so it'll be fine. All right, next step. All right, so you need your piece of foam, if you're going to use foam, your two shoulder strap pieces, and the strap that we just made. So on one of your pieces, on the curved edge, add your strap with it wrong side up, so your slider is underneath here. And we're just going to baste this in place for now. Okay. And then we're going to take our other strap piece and lay that on top. And sew all the way around that at the seam allowance in the pattern. Let me see what the seam allowance is. Yeah. Okay. It's a pretty decent seam allowance, so. Just be aware that your slider is in there. And actually, you could, I think what I'll do is pull my slider down so it doesn't get in the way. How about that for a good idea? Okay. Okay, let's sew all the way around. All right, and if you want to either do clips here, just make sure you're not clipping your webbing on your curves. And I'm just using my zigzag scissors, my pinking shears. Okay. And then we're going to pull that through. This takes a little hot minute. You can pull this, but you're going to have to pull down as you go. It might be different with this. Yeah. Yeah, it just takes a minute. It's not really hard. It's just finagling it down. Perfect. All right, don't forget to put your foam in. I'm just making sure. I'm going to trim my foam down just a little. Let me see how that is. Yeah. You just don't want to struggle trying to get that in there. Doesn't need to. You don't need to have the struggle. So let's get it in there. And that's where this tool will come in handy as well. Kind of shove that in there. You actually need something a little more substantial. Let me go grab something else. Hold on. All right, I use a needle. It has a little sharper corner and a little more pull. So I just stuff that down in there. Now, the other thing you want to make sure is that it's about 1/2 inch or more away from this end. And then you're going to put your clips on and just make sure that your seams are laying nice and flat. I would not do the foam. It takes a little maneuvering, but it's worth it in the end to have a little padding there. Okay. All right, next step. All right, and then put your D-ring with the right side of your strap. So here's the right side of my strap facing up. And we're just going to base that in place. Okay. Let me just see something. Yeah, she does say do 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to just do another little row here. I'm not going to top stitch until I get my strap connector piece on. Just so it's a continuous piece. All right, now take your strap connector pieces and lay those. Got a piece of tape on me, just a second. All right, so take your strap connector piece. We're going to sew down each side, leaving the top and the bottom open at the seam allowance in the pattern. On both sides. And backstitch on both because we're going to be putting this in on top. All right, so here it is with the short end, the wider end down here, the shorter end up here. We're going to add that to our, we're going to put our strap inside and align the top. And it should fit perfectly, and it always does. I love how the plan comes together. And then we're going to stitch from this seam to this seam at the seam allowance in the pattern. Be aware of where your D-ring is. Okay. I don't think it caught that very good. I'm going to do that one more time right there. Okay. All right, now trim these bottom corners, just the bottom. And these top corners. Don't cut into your stitching. Just trim the bottom corners. And don't trim your webbing. And then we're going to pull that straight right side out. And poke those corners. So the purpose of the D-ring here is if you want to hang your sling on something like a hook or something, or if you want to put keys on it, whatever suits your fancy. Okay, so there you go. Oh my, now we're going to top stitch, I think. Hold on. All right, I'm going to opt for the swivel hook closure. So I'm adding another D-ring here, and I'm going to just base that in place, and then I'm going to top stitch all the way around here. So I'm top stitching around just this top strap connector piece. Okay, and then I'm going to top stitch on this padded connector. Yeah, I'll show you what I'm doing here in just a second. All right, I went over this stitching line twice. That's probably going to be where the bulk of the stress is going to be. So I just went over that part twice. Okay, because I'm not going to use rivets because I'm using webbing. So that's what you should have. There's the right side of everything with your 2 D-rings. 2 D-rings and the right side of your strap. All right, next step. All right, so take your strap, right side facing up. This is the right side with my 2 D-rings, and we're just going to attach it centered to the completed back. Okay. All right, so that's what you have so far. I'm going to tighten this up just a little, and I'm going to connect it just like that with some of my bigger clips. Okay, Oh my gosh, look how good that looks. Next step. All right, so we are going to do the front piece, F, and we're adding our zipper pocket lining exactly where she tells you to, and we're going to stitch right around that just like we did the back zipper. Perfect. I did put my tag up here. All right, let's sew this in place. And I will pull that to the back. Come up a little bit. Come up a little bit. I'm going to pull that thread to the back. Come up a little bit. Come up a little bit. I'm just saying that for myself. Ah. All right, hold on to your threads. And pull that one to the back. Now I don't know which one it was. Hate it when that happens. There it is. All right, let's tie those off. Okay. And I'm going to trim my zipper. And I'm going to trim this one a little bit too. You don't want that in your binding. If you can avoid it. Okay. Then we're going to pull that up and clip it and sew it all the way around. Okay. All right, let's sew it all the way around. Okay, I'm just going to trim this just a little. Okay, beautiful. So there you have a nice pocket. Now, I put my tag here. You could certainly put it down here. If you're going to put it down here, do it now while you can still lift the pocket up and out of the way. But you have a nice finished pocket. Love it. All right, next step. All right, since I'm doing the swivel hook, I cut a 3x3 piece and I put some Decaville light in the middle. And I'm just going to fold that in on itself so I end up with a 1.5 inch piece. I marked my center. I can't really see it very well, but I can, barely. This can be raw edge in the middle. Doesn't need to be anything seen. Now I am going to stitch this down both long edges. And just come across. Okay. Then I'm going to add my swivel hook. Just like this. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so pretty. And I'm just going to baste that together so it doesn't go anywhere on me. All right, now if you're doing the swivel hook, you're going to cut off a piece of this top, and she tells you exactly how much to trim off. Okay. I know it feels weird. Then we're going to add this here. And in the center. Oh, and I'm going to baste that in place. Okay. Perfect. So that's what you should have, because when we get it on there, that's going to end up like this, and we're going to be able to close it. I love it. Next step. All right, so now take your lining, and I'm going to move my zipper towards the center, and we're going to add those right sides together. And we're just going to sew. Oh, I think I have to cut this off too. Yeah. Yeah, trim off this piece too if you're doing the swivel hook. The same amount that you did. I'm like, that's not right. So for the swivel hook option, you're going to trim off your lining the same amount that you did your exterior. Otherwise, it won't fit. Okay. Now, put those right sides together. That fits so much better. Okay. And we are just going to sew this top at the seam allowance in the pattern. And then we'll turn it right side out. Okay, so just from here and around. Start here, go up and around and down. So that's what you have. Oh my gosh, look how good that looks. Yeah, then she does suggest putting some rivets here. So I will do that. All right, I'm going to top stitch it before I put my rivets in. I don't want to have to worry about going around rivets. So we are going to top stitch this part, and then we're going to baste the rest of this together. All right, so that's how that looks. And you have a fully lined zipper pocket, which is a good size. All right, let's set that aside. Grab piece H, and we're going to put those wrong sides together. Make sure that you mark the centers on the top and the bottom and your gusset. So I've got my gusset marks and my top and the bottom center, and we're just going to baste that all the way around. All right, so I didn't turn the microphone on again, I guess. But this is what we're doing. That piece H, we put that front panel on, and there will be a little bit of a pooch there, and that's absolutely how you want it, so you have a little extra room in that slip pocket. So we're just going to baste that all the way around so that it becomes one piece. Make sure that you leave those edges together on your H piece so there is that little bit of a pooch. So there I'm just talking about you have a nice little poochy slip pocket. All right, so for this section, we're putting the zipper on. So I've got my exterior piece with the rounded side towards me, and we're going to add the zipper face down, and I'm just clipping the end of the zipper so my zipper pull doesn't come off. We're going to baste that on. And you could use double-sided tape here. I have never had to. It's not as intimidating of a curve as you might expect. So I'm just clipping it around, and then I will baste it in place.
All right, so now we're going to add, you see that I separated my zipper there. Now we're just going to add the lining piece right on top of that. And we're going to sew that at the seam allowance in the pattern. All right, now I'm just clipping those curves just so that I get a nice turnout. So clip the edges and then we will turn those wrong sides together and we'll top stitch next to the zipper and then all the way around. Now we're going to add our gussets. So our gussets right side together, the outside right side together with our outside, and the lining right side together with our lining piece. You're going to sew that end at the seam allowance in the pattern. All right, so in the pattern, she suggests clipping those corners so that when you turn it, you don't have as much bulk. Then we are going to bring those other ends with the end of our other side of our zipper. Make sure your zipper is closed and that your zipper pull is inside that section. So again, right sides together with the outside piece and right sides together with the lining piece, and then sew that end together at the seam allowance in the pattern. All right, in this section, we're also trimming those edges, except where your zipper is. Don't trim your zipper. And then you can cut off your excess zipper. And then you're going to pull those wrong sides together. You're going to top stitch next to the zipper. And on the bottom gusset, you're going to baste those closed. So you're going to top stitch on each end next to the zipper. You'll see me do that here in a second. I'm just clipping the bottom gusset. And then next to the zipper, top stitch that straight edge where your zipper panel and your bottom gusset meet. So what you see me here doing here is just lining up the zipper panel with the bottom gusset. Sometimes you have extra. Your bottom gusset is a little bit wider than your zipper panel. That's no big deal. Just trim those up. You can see it wasn't much. So now we're going to add our zipper panel to our front piece. That front flap, I'm just folding down inside that slip pocket. You're going to add the zipper panel right sides together, match your centers on the top and the bottom, and the zipper side goes on this front piece. And I do have to clip the corners, at least at the bottom I did. I don't clip my zipper, but on the bottom corners, just clip your gussets by about 1/8 of an inch, a 1/2 inch apart, just on the curves. And here I'm matching up those gusset marks on that piece so that it is matched on both sides. So the top center, the bottom center, and the gusset pieces. And then clip the bottom corners to get that to spread nicely so you have a nice curve, and then stitch that at the seam allowance in the pattern.
All right, I'm going to put and I'm just using my waterproof canvas as my binding. We'll see. I haven't ever used it for that before, so I don't know. I think it'll be fine. It's not stretchy, which, sometimes is okay. It's just 1-inch strips, and I had to sew a bunch together because I didn't have hardly any left of this fabric. So you can see that's where I sewed it together, and I just top stitched it, so we'll see. And then I trimmed it so it's not as thick. Famous last words. So I'm putting the binding on here before I do the other side. The binding on zippers is a little tricky because you don't want to get too close to your zipper teeth, because then it won't open and close well. So you have to kind of do some finagling. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I hope I have enough of this. I think it's going to be pretty close. We'll see. All right, let's do it.
So in this section, you're seeing me do the binding on that other side. It's done exactly the same way. I just used the binding for the waterproof canvas. It worked pretty well. All right, in this section, I'm talking about the challenge. I think it's going to be to turn this with that stiff waterproof canvas. It's absolutely beautiful. And, you know, anything is doable. It just is going to take some time. So you'll see here that it's taking me a hot minute to get this bag turned, but the end result is absolutely beautiful. So depending on your hands and how difficult things are for you to turn, determine what you want to use for that lining. All right, guys, here we are. It's finished, and look at it. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's a sling that you can wear on either side. It's got a decent gusset. I'm talking about the lining, I'm sure, and how difficult it was. But you got that front pocket, nice big deep front pocket. You've got a front slip pocket that has a little give because it's a little poochy, which is perfect. That's where I keep my cell phone. And then on the back, you also have another zipper pocket, which is usually where I put my little purse pal or my money, cards or anything. That's where I put those. But it's absolutely a gorgeous bag. And here I'm talking about D-rings on both sides, so you can wear it on either shoulder, depending on your needs. But it's beautiful. So then, look at me. Then you open it up, and you've got an inside that has, yeah, I'm talking there about the padded shoulder strap and the jacquard webbing. It's beautiful. So there we go. On the inside, when you open that zipper, you've got a good size inside and another slip pocket on the inside. It's just absolutely beautiful. And the lining, even though it's heavy and it was difficult to turn, it actually gives you a beautiful result. And using that for the binding is actually good too. And then you have another D-ring up there that you could put, you could hang it on a hook, or a lot of people use it to hang their keys, or a little piece of sanitizer. Sorry, I was looking trying to see what I was saying. But it's a beautiful bag, and it's probably an advanced beginner or an intermediate, but it is absolutely gorgeous. This will be for sale on my website. But thanks for watching, and I apologize for the voiceover. I've never done it before, but it actually isn't hard to do. And please be sure to click like, subscribe, and comment, and feel free to share the video with other Facebook groups. Thanks for watching.